My name is Teresa, and this is my boyfriend, Scott, and this is my boyfriend, Larry.
This is John, and he is my husband and my primary partner. I am Tess. I'm kind of the connecting point in this relationship. And this is Chris, who is my boyfriend and secondary partner at this point.
Our group is basically comprised of four individuals, myself, along with my wife, Francisca, and Angel was our first girlfriend, and we recently have acquired a second girlfriend named Linda.
Ta-da!
This is not the entire network,
this is about half
but
of it?
Probably.
About half.
A growing number of people are choosing a new way of life. They have rejected monogamy and turned their back on conventional relationships. They believe their lifestyle is the future. They believe in polyamory.
Sorry?
Never heard of polyamory, no. No? Yep, no.
No idea.
Polyamory is the philosophy and practice of loving more than one. It means that you no longer have to make do with one partner. You can have 2 or 3 and so on without fear of jealousy or reprisal. And so can your partner.
It's really not that radical. It's about honesty.
To me, it's ethical non-monogamy.
A framework for the part of the population who is not monogamous by nature or even by choice.
Poly, whatever it was, you called us out of the question as far as we're both concerned. Well, I speak for myself anyway. I think I speak for Doreen as well.
Yeah.
For me, polyamory involves the faith that love is not finite.
I think we live in a monogamous society because it's a Christian society, and that's how it's always been.
But in our society, an estimated 60% of couples are having affairs, and divorce rates are up to almost 1 in 2. Could polyamory be the solution to this modern malaise, as it allows you to love more than one?
At the same time? Simultaneously?
Very difficult. It'd be like hard work, wouldn't it?
It's enough of a strain with one relationship with that.
Thank you very much.
While polyamory might seem like a bizarre concept, there are already an estimated 200 practicing polyamorists in the UK. In America, polyamory is already a social phenomenon, with polyamorous communities emerging in almost every state. We followed 2 poly families over 3 months to see if this extraordinary way of life really is sustainable.
Our family is in a configuration that poly people usually refer to as a V. Both Scott and I are intimately related to Teresa, but not to each other. So Teresa is the vertex of the V.
For the last 6 years, Teresa has had her 2 boyfriends all to herself.
Just that forbidden fruit phenomenon.
But how do 2 men share one woman?
The first time I heard him call her sweetie, that kind of bit into me.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that Scott and I are close friends.
When we joined them, Scott had become restless and wanted to bring another woman into the family.
I have no insecurity at all about Scott's relationship with me.
But who would be willing to take on not just a boyfriend, but his girlfriend and her boyfriend?
If I were to describe my poly family, it would be me at the center. And then, of course, there is my wife, who is involved with Linda. And Linda is also involved with myself. And then we have Angel, and it is just Angel and I involved with each other.
Jerome is living the fantasy life of many men with a wife and 2 kids, plus 2 live-in girlfriends. But does reality really live up to the fantasy?
Unfortunately, I don't have as much time as I would like to make them all completely happy and satisfied.
I want you to come over and see me and then spend Saturday with me.
Jerome's 3rd lover is on a trial period, but there are already rifts forming in the house.
I like my stuff to be my stuff, and that includes my boyfriends.
Linda doesn't like me very much.
While there may be antipathy between the 2 women, Jerome also faces threats from society.
For me, the worst thing that could happen is if my children got taken away.
And do the kids understand just what's going on?
A long time is so long.
Who is Angel in the family?
She's the babysitter.
The babysitter? Would you agree with that, Brina?
Yes.
The babysitter?
Love, love.
In order to become polyamorous and have multiple long-term lovers, not only do you have to be good at time management, you will also need to deal with the green-eyed monster, jealousy. Teresa and her two boyfriends have spent the last 6 years working it out.
Hi, I'm Scott, and this is my girlfriend, Teresa.
Hi, I'm Teresa, and this is my boyfriend, Larry.
Hi, I'm Larry.
We knew from the beginning that we would not be monogamous. We talked about that right away. Neither one of us felt it was natural or right, and neither one of us wanted to do it anymore.
Scott and Teresa were already together, and they knew that they were going to have an open relationship. And Scott introduced me to Teresa.
That turned out to be more, that became something more serious than I had had in mind.
We promised that we would stay together forever, and that we would not prevent each other from forming other relationships.
We joined Teresa and her two boyfriends over the summer to explore just how this unusual setup works. The trio moved up to Seattle from San Francisco 6 years ago and bought a house in an upmarket area. Larry works for Microsoft, while Scott and Teresa work from home selling records and vintage clothing on eBay. Polyamorists believe that love is infinite, but everyday life can be far more complicated with more than one partner.
Everything is kind of exponentially harder, but luckily the three of us are pretty compatible. Scott and I work together, and we're in this office, like in this configuration, back to back, almost all day, every day.
Hello.
When Larry gets home, I feel like it's my time to, leave my computer and spend time with Larry.
Dinner's here.
Because he spends a lot of time at the office.
It works out well for both Larry and I think, because we both like to have a lot of private time. And Teresa likes a lot of attention.
And if it was just me and Teresa, I don't know how well that would work out. I don't know if Teresa would feel neglected. But fortunately, I don't have to worry about that. Between the two of us, Teresa gets pretty much what she requires, and Scott and I get what we require in the way of being able to pursue our careers or whatever other activities we do.
Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Joe.
Day-to-day basis, I don't notice anything different about this than any other relationship.
Hi, guys.
I get up, I take a shower, I shave, I brush my teeth, I get dressed, I go down and check email, I eat a bowl of cereal, I drive to work, I come home from work, I help Teresa make dinner.
Larry, Teresa and Scott have made their day-to-day life work according to their needs.
Oh my God, you're naked. Well, yeah, that's what we do at night.
But at night, things can become awkward. Bedtime in a polyamory household is never straightforward.
Oh, you're still there.
What usually happens is that Teresa and Scott sleep in one room and I sleep in another room. And the reason for that is nothing bigger or smaller than the fact that I snore.
So drive in today. Supersonic breakfast burrito. It's not just good.
And Teresa has trouble sleeping when I'm in the same room. Occasionally, Teresa will gird herself up and get her earplugs and she'll come and sleep in my room. And actually that's tended to work better more recently. I don't know if it's because I snore less or because she's getting less sensitized to it.
You gonna sleep in here tonight?
I do like my privacy, and I actually most of the time like sleeping alone. This particular relationship with this particular set of 3 people is unique. It works because of the different needs and requirements of each of the people in it. We just happen to match up well. The things Scott needs, I don't need so much, and vice versa.
You're sick. You're a sick man.
There are times when I will feel that, like Larry and Teresa are more bonded than I am at that moment, you know, and I'll start to feel a little left out or a little neglected. There are other times, I'm sure that there have been plenty of times when Larry has felt the same thing in reverse.
As far as having sexual jealousy about Teresa having sex with somebody else today in the context of this relationship, it's just not there.
Before they got together, Larry, Teresa and Scott had all experienced marriage before realising monogamy wasn't the only option.
Married life was completely different, worlds apart from this life that I have now. On my wedding day, I knew that I was marrying the wrong person. I had a really low self-esteem and I thought that nobody else would have me. I thought, well, someone asked, I guess I better do it, you know. Isn't that sad? That's so sad when I think about it. I was obsessed with men. I would like lust after every guy that crossed my path. Just that forbidden fruit phenomenon, you know? And now that I'm in a relationship where I can have a relationship if I want to, it's like not that important to me. I'm so much happier than I was and so much happier than I ever thought I could be, frankly. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It just isn't really what humans are built for. We have a promiscuous sex drive that we tend to try and hold in check with various institutions of religion and marriage and so forth. And the best way people can have power over you is to tell you that the things that you most want are wrong.
When I was married, the reason I wasn't unhappy wasn't that I was monogamous and I wanted to go out and have sex with a bunch of other people. That marriage was unhappy for its own reasons. I know that there are some people, I'm pretty sure Scott is one, I'm pretty sure Teresa is also one, who need to be in an open relationship or a poly relationship in order to be happy. And I don't need it, but I'm as comfortable one way as the other.
We returned to Seattle a month later to find that Larry, Teresa and Scott's relationship had taken a dramatic turn. Scott wanted to turn 3 into 4.
We've just been very insular here. I've been feeling for a few months like I want to have a social life again, and I want to have some kind of a sex life outside of the house again. So I'm looking for new people.
That is the one rule that we do have.
Yes.
And that we didn't really talk about when you said, do you have any rules? And that is that there can't be any lying or cheating involved with anyone else that we connect with. You know, it can't be like they're cheating on their husband with us or something. That just doesn't fly. Everyone has to be aware of what's going on and everyone has to be cool with it. So we don't want to be involved in anyone else's lies.
Recently, Scott met a single woman at a party and got a date.
When you heard about that, what was your reaction? Because obviously, I mean, Scott hasn't been seeing him for a while.
Oh, I think it's great. It's like a happy thing in the family when someone meets someone that they like, you know? I mean, I love this man. Why wouldn't, and he's happy. He's met someone he likes and they can have fun together. Why wouldn't I want to support that?
The only reason we're able to be this cool about it is because we feel
utterly secure.
Strong enough certainty
utterly secure
about our own connection.
I have no insecurity at all about Scott's relationship with me, you know? It's a completely separate entity than Scott's relationship with anyone else. If she if he proposes to have someone else join the family, then we can talk about that and that might happen, but I know that Scott is never leaving me. I just know that he's not going to, and he knows that I'm not going to, and I know that Larry's not going to, and Larry knows that I'm not going to.
Teresa?
It's the day of the date, and Scott is preparing for every eventuality.
I'm not doing things because I feel like I'm not getting enough at home. It's just that I like variety. I mean, the reason for making the bed is the potential that I might actually use it.
You know, in the 8 years that Scott and I have been together, our sexual relationship has had ebbs and flows, as I think any couples would in 8 years. And, you know, in the times when Scott and I are having less sex, you know, it just doesn't feel weird.
Teresa's acceptance of Scott seeing another woman extends to actually helping him prepare.
I want Scott to make a good impression because Scott's a really great guy and I want everyone else to know that. So I help him.
Is this the wrong way around or something?
So it doesn't require any effort at all from you, Teresa. It's completely natural for you to do this?
Yeah, completely natural. To be helping Scott to do something that he's excited about and that he's going to enjoy doing.
She'll ask me for all the details later.
I love to hear the details.
Really?
I'm kind of an unadventurous person, and I kind of like to hear about other people's adventures, not just this type, but any type, you know. And so in the same way, I don't have as many outside partners as Scott does, just because, I don't know, I'm not really interested in doing it so much myself, but I kind of like to experience it vicariously through Scott.
I guess I'm finished with all my prep and just waiting for the date to arrive. There's probably something I could be doing to like better prepare myself. Whoa! Thank you. Hello. Hi. Oh, shut up, Joe. Hello. How are you doing?
This isn't a normal date for Gail. Not only is she met by Scott, she is also greeted by Scott's girlfriend, Teresa.
So you guys off to play racquetball, or?
Yeah, I actually even got some new shoes.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
New person. New person.
Hi.
Oh, Annie, you put on a little show. Now
Yes, they have to put on their show. Oh, okay.
For fun.
Okay.
Get a good workout.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, you guys. Get good exercise.
Thank you.
Bye, baby. Bye. Don't forget to close the garage.
I want the shawarma plate.
Newcomers to polyamory can clearly find the idea bewildering at first. After an hour of awkwardness, Gail finally plucks up the courage to ask Scott some questions.
So, I was wondering a few things. I don't know, it might seem like an odd question, but do you guys live together, but do you each have your own room that you sleep in, and then...
We do each have our own room, although my bed is mostly slept in by the dogs. I usually sleep in Teresa's room.
So you're probably past any point of like feeling jealousy or
Yeah, pretty much.
Seem really comfortable.
We've gotten there, yeah. It's the result of a lot of hard work.
Well, thank you for a very lovely evening.
Thank you for a lovely evening.
Unfortunately for Scott, Gail goes home.
We've been gone for 3 hours tops. And here's the nice new bed that I took such care to make. This was all done by the dogs. And they didn't like the covers, so of course they pulled it down and moved the pillows around and left their bone behind. It's the only bone this bed's gonna get this evening, I'm afraid.
Scott, did you close the windows downstairs? Thank you.
Well, that was fun. I'm gonna go back out on Wednesday.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. And then she'll be at the party on Friday, so.
Wow.
So that'll be a good week.
So yeah, how was it?
It was good. It was good. She likes me. I like her. Oh, and yeah, and Teresa might go out with her son, so.
Well, I think that's putting it a little too strongly. She doesn't have any real interest in going out.
She doesn't have any real interest. Well, she finds him interesting and
She's very young.
yes. So maybe we'll do a double date sometime.
By very young, I suppose it's important to point out that actually means he's 19.
Right. I suppose that's important.
Eager for Scott to make some progress with Gail, Teresa invites her to a dinner party.
I don't care what ulterior motives a woman has for sleeping with me, if she sleeps with me. All right, let's see these fish.
And see, Larry and I are just much more discriminating than that. Larry and I really have to like the person in order to be sexually attracted to them.
Yeah, I have to like the person too.
Larry and I also have this thing where we don't really care that much about the actual fucking. You know, like kissing and making out is just so much more fun. I mean, I could talk to Larry for hours at a time and just not be bored. It's just always interesting. We always have interesting things to say to each other, and I'm always interested to hear his opinions because he's so bright and so, you know, thoughtful, considered on just a number of topics. Let's go buy some fish.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that Scott and I are close friends.
I maybe have a little guilt about pushing them together, you know? I mean, I think what they mean, I think what Scott and Larry mean when they say they're not really good friends is that they're probably not people who would have ended up as friends unless someone like me brought them together. We were just talking about you and Scott. You know, we talked about how you both apparently said, when I wasn't around, that you're not really good friends with each other.
We can do that.
I know. It just always makes me a little sad.
Are these out on purpose, all this stuff?
Yeah.
Conceptually?
Yes.
Oh, everybody's arriving all at once.
Guess what? We have 3 doggies tonight.
Hi, hi, hi.
The dinner party is underway, and Scott's prospective new girlfriend has arrived. But to complicate matters, she's brought her ex-husband.
The best chef and
To Teresa, our marvelous chef.
Thank you all for coming.
Gail isn't giving Scott much attention over dinner, and hopes of any progress are fading fast. Scott seeks solace in Annie.
Annie needs some attention because she's been so frustrated tonight. She wants to be friends with Laser, and Laser doesn't want to be friends with her. It's a very pretty color. Gail did not go home with her ex, but she did go home. Yeah, it's, I don't know, as far as Gail goes, it seems to get less physical every time we see each other, so I don't know. The nice thing about being poly is that you can you can take a chance with somebody, and if it doesn't work out, you've still got your family, and it's not as painful.
Although Scott had no joy turning 3 into 4, one poly family have managed to do just that, but at what price?
I like my stuff to be my stuff, and that includes my boyfriends.
Linda doesn't like me very much.
In parts of America, polyamory is becoming a modern alternative to monogamy. Polyamorists are striving for a utopian ideal where they have multiple partners with no jealousy and where everyone is fulfilled. Early in the summer, we met Jerome and his poly family.
Polyamory isn't just about sharing sex with another individual, it's actually about sharing a relationship and something much deeper with love and commitment. We all have different desires and different needs, so that's why we have multiple people in our lives.
Soon after we met Jerome, it appeared that a wife and a living girlfriend were no longer enough.
Hi, I'm Angel, and this is my boyfriend, Jerome.
Hello, my name is Jerome, and this is my wife, Francisca.
Hi, I'm Francisca, and this is my girlfriend, Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda.
After living with his wife and girlfriend for 3 years, girlfriend number 2 has moved in. Jerome might now be the envy of his male friends, but life is complicated. With girlfriend number 1 jostling for position, girlfriend number 2 still on a trial period, and Jerome's 2 children beginning to wonder just what's going on.
I am more of an alpha male, and so I have developed as the center point of the whole relationship.
When I married Jerome, we took the traditional vows to love and to honor, and nowhere in there really did it say to be monogamous with your couple.
They told me about how they were polyamorous. I'm like, oh, I could never do that. Be with a married guy and so old. Because, like, I was only 18. I just graduated.
And then, of course, Linda came along, and actually, she found me on the internet.
Basically dated him for about a week before knowing that he was already married and already had a girlfriend.
And we hung out, and we clicked very well. And, of course, when my wife and her met up, they also clicked very well.
So we're kind of an odd pairing.
Jerome and his poly family live in a modest 2-bedroomed house in Port Orchard, a quiet suburb of Seattle.
Why don't you serve yourself up, honey?
He and his wife, Francisca, married 6 years ago and have 2 children.
Is it Dimitri Martin? Yes.
Girlfriend number 1, Angel, joined the family 3 years ago and is very settled.
Angel's been established. She's been with us for 3 years, and so Angel's here to stay in the relationship.
See if you did a good job.
She's made herself comfortable, and she's found her place, and she doesn't disrupt the house.
This is mine.
Last night.
Francisca's his primary, and that therefore I'm his secondary. And I don't have a problem with that. And he says, oh, but you're all equal. But no, Francisca comes first.
Now, Linda, being the newer person, has to find if she fits within the family.
The arrival of girlfriend number 2, Linda, is a challenge to the status quo, and it remains to be seen whether Linda will stay for good.
This is my first polyamorous relationship. All the other relationships I've been in have been monogamous relationships.
Yeah, I know one of them is real short. I think that was...
And it's not that good.
I really didn't start thinking about polyamory until I got with Jerome. So it's all very new to me, this whole structure and this whole being with more than one person or having a partner that wants to be with more than one person. So I'm still kind of adjusting to it.
He didn't even finish his own.
I'll take your plate in front of it.
Thank you.
When it comes to my life with women, I prefer more submissive women because it just makes things easier. Otherwise, you know, if there's another alpha female, perhaps, there would be a lot of battles in the house or arguments, and I don't like that.
For Linda, who is new to polyamory, there is a lot to take on. The first being the unusual sleeping arrangements in Jerome's household.
Set it for 7:30, please.
As well as sharing a bed with 3 others, Linda has to get up very early, leaving Jerome to slumber on with his wife.
Angel and myself wake up around 6 to go downstairs, either to sleep on the couch or the floor. So that way when the kids wake up, they don't come upstairs and notice that there's 4 people in Mommy and Daddy's bed.
Jerome's poly family do their best to conceal their way of life from the children. But do the kids know more than they should?
Who is Angel in the family?
She's the babysitter.
The babysitter? Would you agree with that, Brina? The babysitter? And do you guys really like Angel?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like her, I love her.
You love her. And where does Angel stay when she's here?
She sleeps on the couch.
She sleeps on the couch?
And sometimes she sleeps in her closet.
In her closet? She sleeps in there? I've never seen that.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And how long has Linda been with us?
For a while, for a couple of days.
A couple days? Okay. Have you enjoyed her since she's been here?
Yes.
And do you girls love Linda or do you just like her?
We love her and like her.
Okay. And where does Linda stay when she's here?
In your bed.
Angel and myself really cannot show Jerome affection when the kids are around. No real intense hugging. No kissing on the mouth. We'll give like a kiss on the forehead or the cheek. Something friendly. So we try not to be too close or affectionate with them just for the children's sake.
I don't think they really know what's going on right now. And I don't know if they're ready yet to know what's going on because of society's views towards polyamory. I'm afraid that they would be made fun of and ridiculed if it was widely known. And children have a hard enough time growing up without something else making them different.
It's like the human mind. That's not new. It's from the first time.
Jerome's poly family try to protect their children from early exposure to polyamory within the house, but the outside world is more of a threat.
In America, we have something called CPS, Child Protective Services. And in the typical American society is a very Christian-run society and a very monogamous-run society.
How you doing?
they could view it as a detrimental thing. And I do not want to put this family in jeopardy, nor my children especially. They are the most important thing to me out of everything in the relationship, even beyond my wife and my polyamorous partners.
I know, I heard him. He's got the door open.
What's the sort of worst that could happen in terms of the authorities and so on?
That's a matter of perspective, but for me, the worst thing that could happen is if my children got taken away.
With so much at stake, why would Jerome risk taking on another girlfriend?
Why would he want another girlfriend? For him, he's just too affectionate for one person, and so sometimes he could be overbearing, and so it's good to have more than one person to have his attentions to. Otherwise, it's just too smothering. Plus, he's the type of person that likes more than one relationship. And so he'll have his girlfriend and his wife, and then he'll have a fling or two on the side. And that's all right, because that's what he likes. He likes his variety.
For Linda, the biggest challenge of polyamory is having to share her primary partner, Jerome. He sits down with his calendar every week in an attempt to divide up his time fairly.
It does bother me, but it's something that we have to deal with.
When you're done with that, I want you to come over and see me and then spend Saturday with me, because then you're going to be gone.
Right, I remember we were talking about that. I got to talk that over with Francisco as well.
I know.
Having everything so scheduled can sometimes seem like you squash the spontaneity, but I don't think it does.
Linda, do you have any problem with that? That I spend
The Saturday before you guys go.
the Saturday before we go to the Caribbean, that I spend the day with Angel.
You're coming back here, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be recovering here, and then this is school, so I'm not going to see you again until here.
Okay.
So I'd like to do something special.
Linda, do you have anything going on 16th through the 18th of September?
Not at the moment.
If I want to go out on a night where I don't normally go out with Jerome, we'll switch around the schedules and we'll say, hey, is it all right if I go out this night and you go out that night instead? So nothing's written in stone.
So you want to take the girls to it, is what you're saying?
If Francisco wanted to go out.
That's really when I get my play money. Something I need to figure out too is who's all going on the camping trip.
While good time management might help make a poly relationship work, for a newcomer, it can be hard to accept that your partner is not always available.
How do you cope with the jealousy side of things?
How do I cope with the jealousy? That's a good question. I'm a pretty protective person, so I like my stuff to be my stuff, and that includes my boyfriends.
How about I just put this stuff in here?
With Francisca, I really have no issues there, really have no qualms, because she is the primary, she is the wife. With Angel, it's a little hard at times.
Linda doesn't like me very much. She feels threatened by me and has her reasons, and it's kind of hurtful to me because I like Linda just fine, and I would have no problem being Linda's friend.
When Linda came along into our relationship, she determined that she wasn't very fond of Angel, that they didn't get along so well. And when questioned why, she didn't know why. She just said, I don't know, I just don't like her. I just don't get a good vibe from her or a good feeling.
I think she might be happier in a monogamous relationship because she wants to go out and do things with Jerome, and he's really busy.
I just have to really be careful. I have to put my feelings in check, because sometimes I do get out of hand with my jealousy. We've had issues over that before. I'm trying to work through them right now.
I don't necessarily expect them to get along, but don't be rude and don't be mean and don't cause problems.
I don't have any problem with Jerome spending time with her because, well, she needs attention too. It's just as long as he spends time with me, I don't have any problem with it.
Somebody causes a problem, they are going to be the one that is gone. And that would go with Angel as well.
Although Jerome doesn't like conflict at home, he enjoys it at weekends in the form of mock war games.
Linda, I don't think you're going to need a low cap, kid. I think just one low cap and one high cap.
Rules and boundaries are as important in combat as they are in polyamorous relationships.
The lake is going to be the boundary line on this side.
One of Jerome's key rules is that, unlike him, his women aren't allowed relationships with members of the opposite sex.
Pick off the two guys first, and then we'll get Angel. Linda, you're going to guard our rear from Angel, okay?
It does seem a little sexist. I had brought it up. It struck me as a little odd, but that's one of the rules that they already had in place before I got here. So I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
I don't have a problem with the no boys rule because I couldn't have two alpha people in my life. It would pull me apart. And I tried casual sex like twice, and I don't like it.
Work it, Derek. Get in there. Get in there. Beat him to it. Hurry up. Work your way up the ridge. Two coming straight, two working left. I tried to get behind that tree and I was still going forward. Game!
He is kind of territorial.
Got you in the hand?
With his women. He likes his women just for himself.
As the only man to satisfy his women's needs, sex for Jerome also has to be planned with military precision.
The gals all want to sleep in the bed with me, our polyamorous partners and such. Me being the central figure, of course, you know, they all want to sleep with me in the same bed.
We won't be rude to have sex in the bed while someone else is there. We'll actually go downstairs, or if it's still early enough, the couple come up here and have sex while the other two wait downstairs.
It's 10 o'clock on Saturday night. Jerome is upstairs having some alone time with his wife. Angel and Linda wait downstairs until called.
Why is he taking so long to get into his pajamas?
I don't know, they were on the bed. Did he move when he got everything off?
50 minutes later, Linda and Angel are called upstairs.
So we should be all right. Man boobs. You don't have man boobs. Tate has man boobs.
Glasses?
Russ has man boobs.
Oh, God.
You do not have man boobs.
You know, when we show our friends this video, they're going to appreciate you saying that.
I speak the truth.
Night kiss.
She's talking to you guys. There was something really gross on the bed.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Thanks, Angel, for saying this.
You're welcome.
Good night and sweet dreams, girls. I love you.
Good night and sweet dreams.
Good morning.
Love you too.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever stretched that far before. I'll shut the lamp off. And good night.
Jerome's approach to polyamory seems closer to polygamy, where only the man is allowed multiple partners. It was time for Jerome to explain himself.
You've got 3 women, but none of those women are allowed to bring in other men. That seems...
To give a totally honest answer is that I would be uncomfortable with it. I would be insecure. I'm a typical man in that respect for the most part. And I would say, you know, I would wonder things like, well, is she falling in love with him more? You know, does he please her more sexually and things like that? And I would question my worth or value, you know what I mean? So I have typical insecurities that most monogamous people would have.
Do you ever feel a bit sorry for them that they have to just hang around waiting for scraps of you to be thrown in their direction?
That's an interesting way of putting it. Actually, yeah, being involved with several women, of course, is very demanding, and I do get pulled in many directions. That's another thing that has to be understood when coming into the relationship. Unfortunately, I don't have as much time as I would like to make them all completely happy and satisfied. But I wouldn't put it as scraps, waiting for the scraps.
Every polyamory family is different, and clearly this way of life isn't for everyone. But is this philosophy likely to survive into future generations?
I'm not sure if the 3 of us decided to have a child, how we would decide whose it would be. It might very well be a coin flip.
If it's Larry's kids or my kids, when I think about it now, I don't think I care.
I have felt polyamorous ever since I began dating people when I was a teenager.
I have, I guess, always been that way.
I saw by her example that it worked for her, and it made all kinds of sense to me.
Falling in love with one person and never loving anyone else. It just never made sense to me.
Although polyamory might suit a minority, for the majority, the concept is too bizarre.
I really couldn't imagine what it would be like. I think it must be very, very difficult.
Have polyamorists really found a utopian ideal, or are they simply a bunch of New Age hippies?
In the polyamorous world, everybody has some dreams of how they want their polyamorous life to be, but there isn't a one prescription for how a polyamorous relationship is.
We put such a strong emphasis on being monogamous that we don't give people room to be who they are.
The movement is growing, and there are now poly camps where the polyamorous can take workshops. These include how to bring up a poly baby, poly-mono relationships, and how to deal with jealousy. These camps attract over 2,000 people a year and are not just confined to the US. There is even an annual poly day in the UK.
When I discovered that there was this community of people who were like us, we were pretty excited just to find each other.
It's been really cool.
We have a kinship, I think, as brothers.
Of course, we have to have our own magazine, and there are people that are studying this in college, and doing master's theses on it.
Society does not view polyamory very favorably, unfortunately. We are freaks, we're nymphomaniacs, we're unfit parents.
It's sinful.
Linda has been with Jerome's family for 9 months, and her probationary period is almost over.
Get it!
We returned to Seattle to see how things were going.
I was kind of questioning if I would stay in a relationship, and if I did, what it would be like in the future if I stayed long term. And then also it was kind of hard because I told my family, and they really didn't like the idea of me being with a person that was with 2 other people. So far, it's turned out all right, and we haven't had any real problems with all of us being together.
Drop back here. Now throw. There you go, just like that, okay?
But why put yourself in that position of basically sort of competing for a man with other women when you could have a boyfriend of your own? What's in it for you?
Why go through this than have just a regular boyfriend? Because regular men just haven't treated me as well. I get more out of Jerome than I have with my other boyfriends. So in the long run, it's better. I'm happier. I feel needed, I feel wanted, I feel loved.
Teresa and her 2 boyfriends tried to expand their poly family earlier in the summer, but Scott is still hunting for girlfriend number 2.
You look fantastic.
However, they are discussing expanding the family in a different way.
We talk about children occasionally. Teresa, more recently, has talked about it more.
Mostly in the past year, Teresa will ask, do you want to have kids? And my answer is always the same, no. But it's like, no, but if you really want to have kids, I'll bite the bullet and we'll have kids.
That's cute.
How do I feel about it if it's Larry's kids or my kids? When I think about it now, I don't think I care.
He's just looking to cause trouble. You can just tell by looking at it. He's just looking for trouble.
If Teresa had a child and it was Scott's, Sorry, the only reason I'm hesitating is I keep expecting to find some sort of, you know, emotional place in myself where that's a problem, but it just isn't.
Kind of the only thing that we know for sure is that we want to be together. The three of us want to live together and grow old together and be a family and take care of each other and love each other for many, many years to come. So.
A little bit